Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about the Walt Disney Company apparently being in a bit of a feud with Comcast over the price, the remaining 1/3 of Hulu, that they are going to buy out Comcast. And yeah, there's some reportedly there's some dispute over what that is valued at.
Right. So people are like, I thought this was done. No, what happened was there was a floor that they couldn't value it anywhere underneath that number. But now it's to determine the valuation to see what the difference is. So if the floor was, I don't remember if it was 27 or 29 billion, whatever it was. Now they'll decide, well, how much is it worth beyond that, or is it only worth that? And so now, of course, Disney and Comcast each hired their own bank to determine that,
right?
Their own independent, whatever, valuation assessment, and they're not matching up. So now they're going to have a third one to break the tie.
This is kind of the worst case scenario for them. Actually, this was supposed to be an easy deal, but I kind of feel like they are maybe doing. I mean, this is just a theory. They're maybe doing this to buy time because it's like, oh, they have to bring an arbitrator in and they have to, get another evaluation.
Well, yeah, that's it was always said that if you couldn't agree, you had to have someone meet in the middle. Whatever they decide is what it's decided.
Yeah, and this happens with buying a house too. You bring an appraiser in. One might be from the realtor or work with the seller, and then you've got to have your own, and then you got to figure out where you're at with it. But Disney's going to try to get Hulu, the rest of Hulu, as cheaply as possible. But they need to buy Hulu because they're using Hulu's numbers as their total streaming numbers now. That's how they're kind of reporting, right? They're like, oh, this is where we're at with streaming, and if you don't own all of Hulu, yeah, it's a variable. So we're gonna talk about all this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Just to bring this up, how did Disney get 2/3 of Hulu? It was originally Disney, Fox, and Comcast, and Disney had a third with ABC and stuff like that. Then they bought Fox, and then I love bringing this up because we called this out like 3 years ago.
And many times since.
Oh my God. So Disney way overpaid. This is Bob Iger, way overpaid for Fox. And then Rupert Murdoch turned around and bought Tubi for like $400 million. Disney paid Fox was it 71 or $72 billion for their assets, which are basically worthless. They could have taken a tiny fraction of that and bought Tubi themselves and kind of kickstarted Disney Plus, not had to build the whole thing from scratch. But
Rupert Murdoch bought it, and now it's catching up to Disney Plus, and he just did it with their own money for a fraction of the cost, which we've pointed out for years now. Because you were obsessed with it.
I was obsessed with it because nobody...
You were obsessed with it. And now everybody else is like, oh, did you hear it? It's like, are you kidding me?
It's so weird, yeah, because I caught that because, we're kind of watching Tubi because they were getting anime and stuff like that. But I personally watch that kind of stuff over Hulu or whatever. I watch Tubi, I watch Roku, I watch, Pluto, because I kind of like the linear TV feel of it, and I can just kind of go through the channels and put it on something, whatever. But I was just like, wait a second. If it were me, I would have taken an existing platform, kind of like Elon Musk did with Twitter to build X. He bought Twitter to build X because it's a lot cheaper to do that than to try to play catch up. I would have just bought something like Tubi and been like, okay, now Tubi is Disney Plus, and we're just going to switch everything over because it was all ready to go. You just had to put Disney content on it, and you could have done that for $400 million or whatever. And dumbasses paid Fox like 70-some billion, and then they burnt down goodwill with a lot of fandoms of these franchises they bought, or they sold the stuff off, whatever. Like, Disney doesn't know what they're doing. But yeah, let's talk about Hulu. So that's how they wound up with 2/3 of Hulu. Now they have to buy the other third off of Comcast, and they kept telling everybody that, hey, yeah, we're going to get this settled, and it looks like there's a dispute. Again, this is coming from Reuters via Yahoo Finance. They said they're seeking to hire a financial advisor to resolve a dispute over how to value the 33% stake in Hulu, according to people familiar with the matter. Insiders. The move is in accordance with a deal the company struck for Hulu last year. It's an action that their contract foresees of JP Morgan Chase, which provides a fairness opinion on Hulu for Disney, and Morgan Stanley. All these people, it's all the same bankers in the same circles.
Right, it is. But what happened was basically JP Morgan valued Hulu for Disney at $27.5 billion, which is the floor valuation.
Yeah. Okay.
Shocker. And then Morgan Stanley valued it for Comcast at $40 billion, more than $40 billion. So now they're like 13-ish billion apart. And so now they have to have someone come in and figure it out.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. All these streaming platforms are losing value, but they can't devalue Hulu too much because Disney needs it to keep their stock up because they keep pushing Hulu and Disney Plus, right? So you can't say, oh, yeah, well, Hulu's not worth that much, because then investors will be like, wait, Hulu's not worth anything? Well, what the hell? Sell. So yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do would be just split down the middle and be like, okay, we'll add another $5 billion to it.
Yeah, but Disney doesn't want to do that. They don't want to pay any more.
No,
they just want to play the floor, and they're going to argue that, like, oh, they're adding too many things to it, and it's not what it should be valued at, and they're going to argue for the lowest, obviously, possible valuation. And Comcast is going to do the opposite. So they said, they said as long as they're within 10% of each other,
yes,
that would be okay. But since they're more than 10% apart, they have to figure it out.
Yeah, Comcast and Disney are jointly in talks to pick a third bank to do an independent appraisal. As per the terms of the agreement, if the third appraisal is closest to the valuation of that produced by Disney's bank, the average of those two valuations will be the value at which the deal gets done. This sounds like a card game.
It does.
It's like, okay, well, if everybody's cards, you put them in the pile and then you add them together, and then whoever's the closest, that's the person who wins. Similarly, if the third appraisal is closest to the valuation of Comcast, the average of those two valuations is the value at which the deal gets done. If the average of the third appraisal is below $27.5 billion, the final valuation will be 27. Yeah, it's the floor. So even if they come in, they're like, oh yeah, this shit's only worth
but I don't think it
$15 billion.
Shouldn't go below that. It shouldn't, because even Disney's own, of course, I thought they at least have the balls to evaluate it as a little bit more so it doesn't look so obvious. Oh no, it's just the floor. Yeah. So we don't have to pay anything else.
I mean, basically,
sure.
Disney wants to get they have to get the rest of it per the contract. But like, I still don't understand. I mean, this is the thing. Disney keeps buying stuff. I don't understand the whys of them buying things, because everything they buy that they get control of, they ruin. Mm-hmm. They devalue it. If they get complete control of Hulu, what will probably happen, now I don't know the ins and outs of the contract, maybe they have to stay, but I could totally see Comcast pulling all of their networks off of Hulu, which devalues Hulu. And if Hulu is just Disney content, well, we call that Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know.
So what is the purpose? Because a lot of these other, Warner Brothers especially, they're actually starting channels on other networks. Warner Brothers not only has multiple channels now on Roku, which are free channels, ad-supported channels, but they're also working with MeTV. They're basically making another Cartoon Network or Boomerang. You know what I'm saying? So like, what if it's just
what's the point?
What's the point? If it's all Disney stuff, same with Fox. You bought Fox, you bought all these assets, and you've done nothing of value with them. In fact, a lot of the movies that were in production, they shut them down. They closed down studios like Blue Sky. They're rumors are going to sell some of this stuff off or whatever. It's like, what did you buy? It was Rupert Murdoch's garage sale. You went in there, you overpaid. Comcast ran them up. They were originally only going to pay like 30 or 40 billion, but Bob Iger couldn't be beaten by Comcast. And the dumbass paid way more than you should have because Comcast ran him up because they knew he was an idiot and he was gonna do it. So what?
He's Bob Iger, he doesn't lose.
Because he's a Bob Iger, he doesn't lose. But then you bought Marvel, you ran it into the ground. You bought Star Wars, you bought Lucasfilm, you ran it into the ground. You bought Pixar. Pixar is not in a good place right now. You can't even spin the plates that are Disney's plates. You can't keep the parks updated. You can't put out good animated movies. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys are way overextended. And what nobody is talking about, all those loans that they took out during the pandemic.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
Where are they? They're going to come due.
Some of them I'm sure got paid off, but a lot of them were like 30-year. Like,
with what money?
Yeah.
With what money? They borrowed to keep their businesses afloat during the pandemic, but then they took a massive hit at the box office. Their Disney Plus numbers aren't quite where they wanted them to be. They got into this proxy battle, and now they're going to dump $30 billion into buying the rest of Hulu, which is pointless. You know, because it's all, I don't understand.
They don't want to have to pay anymore.
No, of course not. Because they're going to have an earnings call tomorrow, right? That's what's going on. And now the Disney stock is up. People think that it's going to be good because apparently they're doing this early. They're doing it early in the morning, which you said is unusual for them.
Yeah, they usually do it in the after the close. Now they're doing it before the opening, which is weird because Comcast and stuff did that too. But now Disney's doing it, which isn't something they've been doing for a while. I don't, know why the shift unless they're trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know either. So there's definitely, I mean, this whole thing is about keeping the shareholders happy for now. And I think that, if they close this deal, obviously they can be like, oh yeah, now we own all of Hulu. Now we're going to be profitable, guys. Now things are going to be great. They're going to be great. We're going to pay a whole bunch more money than we expected to, but it's okay. We've got endless money. We're Disney. We can just print more Mickey money. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.